Today I am up on the Continental Divide, as you can see from this beautiful sign here. I'm gonna be trying to answer a question I've had, I know lots of people have had. Can any bike be a fat bike? And how would you make that happen? So I did a video recently answering the question kind of the other way around. Can a fat bike, is it a mountain bike? But there are some people out there that want to go the opposite direction. They want to take a normal mountain bike and use it in the winter, use it on snow. So the way you can really do that is, one, you got to have more float. So bigger tires. You could try plus tires. They work decently well. You could try some studded tires. I'm hoping to have kind of an experiment on that coming soon. The way I have thought of that would maybe be the best way to do it would be to get a fat tire up on the front. It's a lot easier to swap out the fork, throw a rigid fat fork on your mountain bike, and then you at least have a fat tire up front to break the trail, firm it up a little bit, and things like that. That's pretty much exactly what I've done here. This is my Jones LWB. I don't have to modify anything on this to be able to run a fat tire on the front. This is a 27.5 by 4.3 Yippee-ki-yay. The Jones happens to run 150 by 15 through axle up front. That's the axle spacing, which is what is on fat bikes. So normally it's running 29 plus front and rear, but I could swap my fat bike tires onto the front, which is cool. In the rear, we're running a 29 by 3 V tire T-Fatty. Again, this is not my favorite tire. It's fine. It's a little narrow for a 3-inch tire. I don't think it's a true 3-inch. It normally works pretty well as a rear tire. It's pretty fast rolling. So it's good back there. We'll see how it does in the snow. But yeah, this is gonna be my setup to try to test it out, see how it works. It is a little on the warmer side today and sunny. It's a beautiful day, but that's not always the best for riding in the snow. So I've come up here on a part of the Continental Divide that is mostly on a north-facing slope so that I'm in the shade as much as possible. And honestly, there's a little bit of a wind. It is colder than I thought. Let's get to it, see how it does. So the first thing I'm gonna do, because I already know it's gonna be a problem, is lower the pressure in the rear a little. Low pressure is your friend in snow, sand, low traction situations. See how it gets in the soft sections. There's gonna be some sunny stuff, but I don't know, maybe it's still cold enough. So far though, honestly, I'm surprised how well it's doing. Icy through here, usually. It's doing okay. Definitely where the snow's firmer and colder, it does better. I think up here is gonna be the real test. Got a little more of a climb. I'm climbing right now, but it gets a little bit steeper up here. It should all be shaded, but I think it's getting deeper as well. And maybe a little less packed. I'm gonna go lower on the pressure still. I don't want to go too low. Those sections where it's not snowy, I don't want to just destroy the rim and the tire. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get started. Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. This will be fun as an e-bike setup. You get a lot more, power to keep you going. Uh-oh. Lost my glove. Just realized that. Gotta go back and get it. All right, got my glove. But as I'm walking, you can see the difference between a fat tire and even a plus tire. I can only see the plus tire tracks. You can see it's, it's a little bit of a rut. It's not much, but it is pushing that up. Whereas the fat tire, I mean, I know this is coming after it, obviously, but I can't even see it. It's floating like it should. But yeah, this whole way up, you could see where the plus tire was versus a fat tire is gonna be, you'll see the knobs, but that's pretty much it. You won't see any sinking. It does okay for a second. Definitely takes a lot of effort because that back tire is just like constantly wanting to sink in, and you got to find a much more of a balance between, you know, putting power down and not. It's kind of like when you stand up on a dirt, you know, a dirt climb, and maybe it's a little bit loose. You got to make sure you keep some traction on the back tire, but you don't pedal so hard. We'll see once I get to this top right here. I'm having to walk because it's just, I go 5 feet and then have to stop. I realized I should probably provide a little PSA. Don't do what I'm doing right now on groomed trails. People spend a lot of time, money, things like that to groom them. And that's why there's a rule, this right here, why there is typically a rule of minimum tire width. It's usually 3.8, sometimes it's 4-inch, but no matter what, even if you have 5-inch tires, you always have to be careful and monitor, am I leaving a rut? This is just a packed hiking trail, so it doesn't matter. But if I was leaving even the ruts I am right now on a groomed trail, I would stop and I wouldn't ride. See, this right here is pretty different condition. You can tell this hasn't been in the sun. It's a little flatter. People have obviously been on it when it was pretty warm, given all the little divots from feet. But it's doing pretty well on this. When it's really hard packed, it's good, to be honest. It feels good. A little slippery, more slippery than if I had a fat tire on the rear, but it's rideable. I'm making an executive decision. Originally, I was either gonna go back the way I came, given the conditions, and that it's only getting warmer. I'm gonna head down this way. Obviously it's unpacked. I know where this goes. It's not that long. This will be a fun little test. It's extremely rutted in a few spots, like just right there. It's hard, I gotta look at the camera instead of my eyes. Very rutted and awkward, but let's try it. Oh, I also thought I should mention, I'm wearing the Blivet, where's the brand? There it is. Blivet, these are the FLTs. They're a flat specific winter riding boot. See that? It's got that Vibram sole. This is my second ride with them, and holy cow, they are nice. They are warm, feel really good. The pedaling, like the platform, the stiffness is good, but up top, it's not. It's like very movable. I don't feel like my ankles can't bend or anything. I do have a dropper post on here now. Many of you may have noticed. I'm not sure what animal we're following, but holy cow. But yeah, I've got the PNW Coast dropper on here. Not sure how I feel about the suspension side of it yet. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm just surfing. It's just sliding to the side. Oh, much better. Oh, still pretty soft. Little uphill, let's see how it does. Totally fine. I think it's cutting through to the bottom. That's actually something in the car world, often they'll call them pizza cutters. Having a narrow but taller tire, reasonably narrow obviously, can sometimes be better. You get a lot more height and you could cut through. It definitely depends on the vehicle, the weight, that kind of stuff, but similar principle right here. All right, don't die. I don't know what it's like. Oh gosh. Woo. Holy cow. Be one with the rut. Oh, except I don't want to on this side. It's so narrow. Oh. Yep, ride it out, ride it out. Ooh. Okay, I made it. This feels good, but any bike would feel good on this. This is ultra packed. What's gonna help here probably most is studs. but this is rideable on pretty much any bike. Ooh, how about some nasty, icy, slushy stuff? This little spot makes me so nervous every time because it gets super icy. Kind of thought this would be more powdery, but that's okay. Woo! Tokyo Drift. Ooh. Don't have any confidence, but that wasn't too terrible. All right, so I made it back to the truck. So let's talk about it. Can any bike be a fat bike, as in be used in the winter on snow? The short answer is sort of. I know, I hate answers like that. But yes and no. Depending on the conditions and where you're gonna ride, everything like that. Technically, you can ride any bike on snow. Like, it happens all the time. However, when it comes to what you're really asking, can you use it in an enjoyable way on more than just a downhill trail without sliding and dying and, you know, things like that? The Jones is honestly like the perfect bike to try this on. Think about it. It's got, like I said, the front fork is essentially set up for a fat tire already. It's meant to clear them. It has fat bike spacing. And then at the same time, it's the LWB at least, is meant to run 29 plus tires. So the largest footprint you're gonna get in like a somewhat normal boost spaced bike. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit, but yeah. So did it work? Yeah, it totally did. Did I have fun? Yes. Would it have been easier if I had a fat tire front and rear? Absolutely. The reality is you're a lot more limited in what you're gonna be able to ride. You can't ride on groom stuff, for one. Two, soft conditions, it's a lot more of a struggle. Where you're gonna be able to get away with it is in packed conditions on those ideal days where it's got a good crust, it's super firm and set up. You can obviously have fun in softer stuff like I did. It was lots of fun, but it's a little bit of a different experience. For example, I only went, you know, like a few miles. Normally on a fat bike, you know, it's not a big deal to go more than that, but it gets old a little bit. Another thing that makes the Jones perfect is that, again, it has this fork and the frame can clear it. If you're gonna be swapping a fat bike fork onto a hardtail or whatever your mountain bike might be, you might have an issue with the fork clearing the frame. So fat bike forks are obviously a lot wider to be able to clear that. And so you might run into an issue where when you turn, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want the bike to fall over. When you turn the bike, that might contact the down tube. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from trying this or doing this. Maybe it's the only setup you can have. Maybe you're the opposite of me and you just want to prioritize mountain biking, but in the winter, you would love to be able to ride in the snow. Yeah, sure, try this. In the end, you might end up spending just as much as you could for a cheaper fat bike that will get you out, and honestly, you'll probably have more fun. Even if it's something that's absurdly heavy or something like that. Thanks for coming along on this ride with me today, trying this out, this little experiment. If you've got a Jones bike, throw a fat tire on. It's fun no matter what. If you've tried something like this before, let me know down in the comments. Love to hear about it. Maybe you figured out something that works. Maybe it's some combination of studs and pressure and I don't know. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.